Just so you know, my name is Rovin Alingalan. And we, I guess, predominantly Filipinos here, but I'm not going to put it just to Filipinos. We love nicknames. I just look around the room, I see Chamba, I see like AJ. Who among us have a nickname? Whatever, however simple it is. Who has a nickname? Like if your name is really very long, like Rebecca May, so we shorten it to Becca. Or if your name is Maybelline, then just May. But some of us have nicknames because of the relationship. Some of your best friends and yourself, you call each other, Uy, best, or Uy, favorite, or something, Uy, twin. It could be something that was done when they were younger. Babylyn's no longer here, but I still wonder why she was called Babylyn until now. And Filipinos, we love baby and boy. So everybody has a tita baby, and everybody has a tito boy. Somewhere, somehow. And I even have a friend, a couple of twins, were they're twins, and I grew up with them, and I never knew their full name. I never knew their actual name. I only know them as Ping and Pong. And hence, that nickname stuck. And I myself have a few nicknames. So my full name is Roy Calvin Arales Alingalan, and if you're Singaporean, it's Roy Calvin Arales Alingalan. Rovin is a mix of Roy and Calvin, and they join together. That's a blended word, so it's Rovin. And if you're Filipino, Rovin becomes Robin. So that's also acceptable because, Filipinos have accents. And then there's also Vin and Bin, and two of my favorite is Aling. Aling sounds very weird, but it's a play on Alingalan. I play basketball in secondary school here in Singapore, and my coach does not speak English. So instead of saying Loy or something else, he said, Aling na lang. 我叫你 Aling 可以吗? I'm like, oh, can I call you Aling? Then I'm there. I don't even know what you're saying. Like, oh, okay, as long as I play, doesn't matter. So and my favorite was given to me by my grandfather, my late grandfather. He used to call me Rambo. And I see some young people here who might not know who Rambo is, and I'm going to show you, then you can see why. You can see directly why I'm called Rambo. So this is Rambo. So it's this guy, Sylvester Stallone. Back in 1980s, he came up, I don't know which one came first, whether Rocky or this one, but this guy goes out to Vietnam or wherever in Southeast Asia, all sweaty. Of course, if you've got it, you flaunt it. Instead of wearing camouflage, he just takes out his shirt. And then he carries a GPMG. And if you went to the army, if you carry a GPMG and fired it for 30 seconds, either your gun will melt or your arms will. But Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, can do it. And this is me. I have no idea why I was called Rambo. For some rhyme or reason, my grandfather, I was born in 1985, Rambo came out in 1982, so he probably, maybe, I never knew the reason, maybe he loved Rambo so much that, okay, the next baby, the next grandson, I'm going to call him Rambo no matter what. It's fine if it's a baby, diba? But if you're running around playing Holland or tago-taguan, and then suddenly it's time to eat, Rambo, and then this skinny guy comes in, parang, ano ba? And it stuck with me, this nickname, until, when my grandfather was very old na, he would still call me Rambo. Oh, Rambo, kumain ka na ba? Opo. But obviously, I needed to eat more. But that's the thing with nicknames. We're sometimes given nicknames for no apparent reason. We're given nicknames for, a variety of reasons maybe. But our true identity always remains the same. No matter what I was called, no matter how I was described, I was who I was. I am who I am. Identity is something that we're going to be talking about today because it's so important. Because the state of your security is tied to your identity. I'll repeat it one more time. The state of your security is tied to your identity. And so what I mean is that whatever your identity is, there your security will be. If your identity is flip-flopping, what do you think your security is going to be? Your security is going to be flip-flopping as well. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about identity. By the way, we are on if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, we're on the 7th week of Goliath must fall. So by now, we would have kicked fear down, right? And we've already started. If you are part of the Koinonia, great job. Do invite more so people will learn more. If you're shy, go to Ang Mokyo Koinonia. That's where I am at. And we tend to keep starting. I think we had last Friday, apparently, we started again. Because we had new people come again, and then we started again. And we're okay with starting again. So do come to a Koinonia near you. So during this Koinonia, you would have read 1 Samuel 17. You would have known the story, but I cannot let the story pass without retelling it my way. Because when I grew up, I remember that one story that my mommy told me. When I was a kid, you know how it would be, fairy tale. You would sit down before bed, and then you would read it. The parent would read a story to the child, and it's so sweet. But my mommy, as you know, is a tough love kind of girl. So I vividly remember this one time, she actually sat my kuya and I down, and then she said, "Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. It's about David and Goliath." So I'm going to paraphrase it the Angelina kind of way, but in English. So 1 Samuel 17, there was a young boy just like you. Parang ikaw lang, Rovin. Just like you. And he was going against Goliath. And you know what he brought? He brought stones. And then he used his tirador. You know what's tirador? Those kids, slingshot. But in Bible, it's like swinging. So she got the stone and he shot it on Goliath. Then it hit Goliath like, bam! But you know, I'll give you a fun fact, and it's in the Bible. Goliath fell face down. Who has ever taken physics in the room? Physics as a subject. Or science. We all have taken science, right? In grade school, in high school. Physics and momentum, according to some guys, Newton's law, object in motion will remain in motion, blah, 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 blah. So if a stone was to go this way and then hit something, what's the natural direction? This way, right? If a stone were to hit Goliath right smack on the forehead, it would probably fall this way. But why did the Bible put it as, wrote it down in every translation that Goliath fell forward? My mommy had a very simple explanation to that. I don't know how biblical it is. Alam mo ba, Rovin? Alam mo ba? Bakit po? You're interested na. Yeah, why? Bakit po? I go near, and then mommy said, binatukan ni God with batok. So I'll forever remember that. We're going to explore a little bit about that today. We're going to use the text that was given to us, and then we're going to dive deep into it and find areas in which David was rejected. For some of you, during your koinonia, you probably covered this already, but I'm going to try to approach it in a fresh way. We're going to try to go it deeper. So we're going to start at verse 28. I'm not going to block. So why have you come here? And with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know how conceited you are and how wicked your heart is. You came down only to watch the battle. Right? This is from David's oldest brother. So oldest brothers or the eldest is usually held in high esteem. They're supposed to, they're the most blessed one back in tradition. So what he says carries weight. But when I was reading this, and I kept reading it, and I kept studying it, the best way for us to study and read the Bible is really to go into the Bible, to find out what it means, to find out what the author wanted the listener to hear, and then you contextualize it. So this is my way of contextualizing it. So the older brother went to the younger brother, "Hey, you come for what? Okay? Go and mind your own business lah. Alright? Your flock already so small, still want to kepo. Who is taking care of them? I know, you're so bad. You came here to just watch people kena, right?" So in a more formal way, what he's saying, David, you're up to no good and you're so irresponsible. That's the older brother telling David. Can you imagine? It might not have been this blatant, but maybe some of us have already heard something like that. Why bother coming? Don't you have something else better to do? So that's rejection number one. Rejection number two came from his boss, King Saul. Saul replied, "You are not able to go out against a Philistine and fight him. You're only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." I listened to the audio, NIV, and I'm very thankful. The guy's voice, the timbre on his voice is very soothing. But I was thinking, if a king were to tell a young boy this, it would be a little bit rougher, it would be a little bit, doubting. So I try to contextualize it a little bit. So this is as modern as it gets. You sure cannot make it. Okay? You so noob, he's so pro. Sure cannot. He's so OP. From long ago, it's OP. OP is overpowered. The young kids will know when they play games. Hey, why you choose that character? The character is so OP. Basically, that character is too overwhelming. It's too overpowered. It's not balanced. And that's what Saul is telling David. David said, "I'll do it. I'll go and fight Goliath." And then Saul said, "Nah, not you. Look at him. He's so big. He's been a pro. You just sheep and you play." He was a musician and a shepherd. Rejection number 2. Number 3. So this, fine. He went out to the battle. He already, face to face with Goliath and his right hair on his face. And then he looked. So this is from the perspective of Goliath. So Goliath looked David over and saw that he was a little more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. When I was reading this, I kind of laughed because this is like pogi problems, Pogi na nga eh. What's your problem? I feel you, David. I have the mic. I can say whatever I want. But I'm under God's... Sorry, Lord. Okay. So this is basically, he see David, and he saw, he's so handsome. Hey, you think I what? You can find me with a small thing? You come here and I teach you a lesson. Try to contextualize it. Big guy, small dude, so handsome, and then I'm the big guy, oh my goodness, this handsome guy gonna come here and fight me, and then he comes some stick, I can't see it clearly, he's too far away. What do you think I am? I'm the champion. Who are you? You're going to fail. You haven't even started, you're already a loser. Rejection number 3. And these are the rejection that's more in your face. As you read the Bible, as you read the passage, you see that. You see that rejection. But there's one more that really cuts deep. Parang may hugot siya. And it's not so evident. It's not so in your face. And we have to backtrack a little bit to 1 Samuel 15 and then 16, and then we'll go back to our story. So just keep in mind, I've been touching on 3 rejections so far. And on 1 Samuel 15, Saul disobeys God, and then God says, look for another king. This guy is no good. I don't want him anymore. I kind of regret, having him. And 1 Samuel 16, God sends Samuel to Jesse. And he goes to Jesse, and then he looks at the brothers and Jesse's sons, and then this brother's no good, this brother's this brother's so handsome, how about this one? And God said, nah, this one's so kind of better, nah, cannot. And then up to David, and David got anointed. Follow me so far? So David got anointed. Woo. So I'm trying to look at it like a father. If I'm Jesse and I'm looking at let's say Ruth, my second born, Ruth get anointed with oil, and then you see your child coming up with oil. Wow. There are 2 feelings I think that's very natural for people. It's either you're super proud, like, oh my goodness, my son is going to be the king. Woo! Tell everybody. Or the other way, don't tell anyone. Because Saul is going to hunt you down. Natural, right? Even Samuel was scared. God said, go and look for him. And then Samuel said, what if Saul finds out? So, natural. You can either be very, very excited or you can be very scared. This is like a rejection that's not said. Because for all this that happened, for Jesse, wala lang. You know where David went? Back to the sheep. Put yourself in David's shoes. You came, you're obeying your dad, you're obeying your dad, you're taking care of the sheep, then your dad calls you, said, oh, you're being summoned, and then, okay, you're going, oh, wow, I'm being anointed? Woo! Oh, I humbly accept. Then you, so you're like, wow, oil pouring over you and everything else. And then you go to your daddy, Daddy. Then your daddy said, okay, guys, good job. Okay, the sheep cannot tend for itself, so you go back. How many of us has ever, for example, wow, you go home, you receive a perfect score, then you tell your dad, oh, Daddy, I got perfect score. Oh, yeah, good job. Madali lang yung test, no? Or something. I don't know. Wala pong hugot yun. No, but Jesse, parang wala lang. That's another form of rejection. Rejections are not just in your face, I don't like you. Rejections aren't just in your face, that you cannot make it. Rejections can be, you expect something from somebody and that somebody did not say that something that you wanted. Because rejection can be uttered or can be something that is not said. So let's recap a little bit. The Singlish part is over. Of course, I'll still speak Singlish once in a while, but these are the adjectives or the nicknames that David could possibly have had. He's up to no good. He's irresponsible. He's incompetent. He's overmatched. He has no substance. Pogi lang siya. He's destined to fail. He's forgettable to his dad, and he's insignificant. It came from a variety of sources. No substance. You're a failure. Don't even try. You won't match up to me, according to Goliath. And then Samuel said, can you call your son? Who, him? The youngest? Oh, fine. Or Eliab looking at him. I don't know whether it's out of anger, but looking at him, you go home. You're conceited. You're irresponsible. And Saul, his boss, the person that he's been playing for, tells him, you're incompetent, you're overmatched, don't even try. How about us? Now the key thing here is that rejections are going to come from every area of our life. It might be subtle, it might be in your face, but rejections are going to come. Now how did David react? So I'm going to go through some of his reactions. And the first one, his response to his brother says, now what have I done, said David, can I even speak? He pleads himself innocent. To accusations, be blameless. He told his brother, I didn't do anything wrong, I've never done anything wrong, I'm not who you say I am. I'm not conceited, I'm not wicked, I'm not here to look at people die. Second, to doubt, testify. Saul said, you cannot make it. You are overmatched or incompetent. You don't have the training. He has all the training. And then he says, but God has been with me. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. And he was able to say that to Saul, his boss, the king. But to doubt, testify. Talk about how God has gone through your life, through all the challenges, all the trials, and then finally to insurmountable challenge, surrender. So all those, this is in response to Goliath, and he's telling Goliath na, all those gathered here will know that it's not by the sword or spear, and I really hope that he had added in a stone. So it's not sword or spear or stone that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's. This is trust. To accusations, be blameless. To doubt, testify. To insurmountable challenge, surrender. But we're not going to end here. Because all this is just a result of his security in God. And that security is anchored on his identity with God. And David was spirit-filled in chapter 16, just before we go to the story of Goliath and David. When he was anointed, it wasn't just he was anointed to be the king. He was anointed and the Holy Spirit came upon him strongly. He was spirit-filled. And he trusts God. You better make sure you trust God when you're facing a lion or a bear. There's no way you're gonna face a lion or a bear and not trust someone. because you only have your stick and your stone and your sling. Maybe you get lucky for the lion. I'm so glad of the Bible. Like they thought of everything. What if David only got lucky with the lion? You know what? Send him the bear too. So to show that God's going to be there. He trusts God wholeheartedly against a bear, against a lion. If it was me, I'll run away, bye-bye sheep. It's okay. But him, it's different. And he's after God's own heart. He's been described this, but that was later on in the later books. He was described as after God's own heart. But this is still evident in chapter 17. If you see a gigantic giant in front, and God says, you go. That's what David felt. That's how I know that he's after God's own heart. The giant was defiling the armies of God. And I like one of the versions saying he was defiling the God of angel armies. How can this uncircumcised Philistine make fun of my God like that? My God's not going to stand for it. I'm going to do what is right. I'm going to do what my God wills, and I'm going to fight him no matter how weak the odds are. He had this. This is a description of him, but this was anchored on his identity. Because the state of your security is tied to your identity. I want you to recap a little bit more about what he faced. He faced rejection from somebody he loved and respected, his father. He got rejected by his older brother, somebody that he looked up to. He got rejected by his boss, somebody that he reveres because he's the king. He got rejected by the challenge, and every single time he had something to say because he was anchored on his identity in God. His security did not waver. And how about us? We do not have a gigantic giant staring us down, but we do have other sources of rejection. Nobody likes you, according to FB and IG. I go to Facebook later, and then, wow, you preach, and then you're like, oh, 5 likes. Or, you post something, you crafted it well, you even put a Bible verse inside, and then you get like 7 likes. But even then, no matter how many likes you're going to get, FB and IG can still tell you you're not well liked. Look at this post, 50. And then you start comparing yourself. Or somebody will tell you, oh, you're not talented, indirectly or directly, when you're not chosen for a part. Or somebody might tell you, oh, you sure you're better than him? You sure you can do the job? Who are you? I've been told certain things like, I'm pretty good, but can be better. I was the top 15% of the cohort. That means the whole Singapore, when you sit for a specific specific exam, or you're a low-level influencer, you post something, you get 40, 50%, 50 likes or whatever, or you're generally well-liked. But even these good things can be a form of rejection. If you base your identity on these things, it's going to be a form of rejection because no likes are going to be enough. No good is going to be enough. 15% of the cohort, you think that's good enough? But if your identity, oh no, I need to get 1%. Again, I need to be the top of the top. And then after you become top of Singapore, then you're going to compare yourself to the whole world. Am I the top of the world? Yes. And then you look up to the history. Oh, he did it better. Or you're generally well-liked. People say, hey, people like you. I wish they loved me. We all can still fall into the trap of putting our identity by looking at somebody else, about how somebody view us. So who are we? According to God, and this is God's perspective and God's view, He says to us, I am the creator and you are my creation. I breathe into your nostrils the breath of life. I did it. I created you in my own image. My eyes saw your unformed substance. I knit you together in your mother's womb. I know the number of hairs on your head, and before a word is on your tongue, I know it. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. This is according to God. And this is how He looks at us. Even before you get to know God, He knew you. Even before you came here, He knew you were going to listen to me, to the words that I'm speaking. Even before even before you rebonded your hair, you're already fearfully and wonderfully made. That's according to God. According to people, though, you can be good or not so good. You can be talented or not talented, depending on who you're comparing. You can be good looking or bad looking. You can be funny or not funny. Depends. Different people, different strokes. You can be important or unimportant. But I want us to really go deep into what God says about us. You are God's creation. You are carefully and wonderfully made. You were made for a purpose, and you are worth redeeming. We all know this. Well, most of us know this. And I'm the first to admit that sometimes I forget. We know this. It doesn't take a genius to decide, okay, if you put it that way, I'm going to stick to here. But why do likes still matter on social media? Why do people's comments damage us in such a way that this doesn't seem true anymore? When kids play games, when they compare, oh, I want to team up with Easy Boy because Easy Boy is good. Why does it bother us so much that they don't want to team up with us? Could it be that we're replacing God with some other God? The opinion of others can be your God. When we put it more important than God, what God thinks of us, we are shortchanging God. And I forget sometimes, but it's important to remember who God is. So I'm going to show a very quick video on this. And while they're set up, but as I was thinking about putting God first, going through embracing and accepting what God thinks over what other people think, it really is a matter of who do you serve? Who do you believe? Do you believe what your Creator told you about you? Or do you believe what Facebook tells you about you? Or what your accomplishments tell you about you? Or your successful businesses? Or your failed businesses? Or your relationship? So I hope this will serve as a form of a reminder for us who God is, who this Creator is, and what is He capable of. So it's been estimated that there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth, but there are more atoms in one grain of sand than there are stars in the universe. Just looking at that universe, just having that's just it's out there. The proof is out there. The Creator is out there. And can you imagine this Creator saying, hey, by the way, I care whether you get the job or not. I care whether your soul is saved or not. I care for you. I love you. I think you're carefully and wonderfully made. Can you believe that? This last statement here just shows one grain of sand is much more than billions and billions of stars, the number of atoms, and we are so much bigger than a grain of sand. So imagine the thought, the care, the wisdom that came to making us. And then God says, I know every detail of your life and your body. I know your successes. I know your failures. I know your acceptance. I know the rejections that are going to come. And I still want to love you. I still want to be your friend. I want to have a relationship with you. I don't know about you, but in this case, I cannot imagine it. If you are asleep listening to this, oh my goodness, you better wake up figuratively or literally, because this is the truth. Other people will tell you that you're not good enough. The Creator of the huge universe just showed you a small glimpse of what He is capable of, and then He comes out to you. By the way, I love you. By the way, I accept you. Our life is never gonna run out of rejections. Rejections are gonna come left, right, center, upward, downward, whatever. But our security will not waver if we go back to who we are in God's eyes, in our Creator's eyes. And in our Creator, you are loved, you are chosen, you are redeemed, and you are my friend if you believe and do what I say. The Creator of the universe. Here, let that sink in. The Creator of the universe says that you matter. So what if you have 7 likes? So what if you have 5 likes? So what? As long as you're doing what God is asking you to do, each and every rejection will just roll off your shoulders, just like how it was for David. And that is how we defeat this rejection giant. You focus on who you are in God's eyes, because the Creator wants to be in a relationship with you. Say that internally. Just internalize that. The Creator wants to have a relationship with me. And He says in His Word, if you draw near to me, I will draw near to you. A friendship, a relationship is a two-way street. God is reaching out for us. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the rejection. I love you. I'm here for you. You might fail. Sure, why not? But if you are following my footsteps, my will, you're failing for a reason, and I'm going to protect you. Abraham was never perfect. He lied a few times, but he was still called a friend of God because of his belief and how he acted on that belief. And each one of us, if we make that commitment to believe and act on it, can you imagine when this life is over, we go up to heaven, and then God tells the whole legion of angels, Alan, yeah, I know him. We're first name basis. All we have to do is to believe and enter in a relationship with God. And then your identity is gonna be solid and you will be secure. So can we do that? In a way, how do you build relationship? When I was dating Maybelline, and my mom can attest to this, she would go to my room and find me talking to Maybelline, and she would say, "Ano ba? You already see her the whole day, and then now you keep talking?" And that's how you get a girl out of your league. No, that's how you build a strong relationship. And when I look at Maybelline, I'm like, whoa, I have no idea why she married me and why she loves me. It's the same thing with God. I look around everywhere and like, why do you love me? But then God said, doesn't matter why, I love you. You love me or not. Okay, maybe God doesn't speak English, but I think He has a universal language. Do you love me? And I said, I want to love you. I want to be friends with you. I want to claim it. I want to bask in it. I want to behold it. I want to know more about germs and bacteria and just know the intricacies of how I was made and then behold how awesome you are and how awesome it is to know that you love me. So here is our challenge, or my invitation. Behold and respond all day, every day. How do you do that? You're not overly saved. There's a term called overly saved. Like, are you thirsty? Oh yes, I'm thirsty for the Word of God. You don't need to do that, but you just meditate. And for this whole week, if there's any photo I want you to take, could you please take this right now? Everyone who's been, your phones are handy, can you please take this down right now? We're going to approach this as a church, and we're going to use this as tangible steps for us to behold and to accept and to act on it. Even those people who are going for camp and helping out in camp, when we do devotions, this is going to be above and beyond our devotions, because these verses or these passages were carefully curated by some youth, our youth leaders, who thought, okay, I gave them a challenge. Can you come up with a passage that talks about how awesome God is? Or can you come up with a passage that talks about how God loves you? So Monday is going to be that. Monday is going to be talking about how awesome God is. And I want you to read it, to listen to the song, to contextualize it. Where were you when I asked the thunder and the lightning to not go and, to hold it back? Or were you there when I put them in the gates? Everything else, just read it, behold it. And in Tuesday, Psalm 139, you'll find out how God loves you through your flaws, through everything, through every rejection. And then it's going to go like that. And then on Sunday, that is Revelations 4, and that is the passage where we have a glimpse of God's throne room. So that on that next Sunday, when you come to church and you come to worship God, the Holy One, our spirit is going to be soaring with the angels, and we're going to come into church saying, Holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who is and was and is to come.
He's our friend. He wants to have an intimate relationship with us. He cares for us. He loves us. So when we know such truth, when we know this, we cannot fathom how this great God would want to have this relationship with us. But since we know this truth, I think there's nothing that we can do but to just bask in it, just accept it, and really just celebrate. Celebrate with joy, smiles on your faces. Celebrate with joy that our great God cares and loves us. Amen.